Greetings, Padawans, and welcome to the Archives. Here to unlock this holocron is the man of the hour, Jedi Master SoTeeko.
Also got to talk locations, you know, because if I'm getting stabbed right here, I'm wearing that shit, you know, I'm wearing it. But if I'm getting stabbed down the middle, through the spine, and Darth Maul, he was holding that thing in there for some time too, you know.
Yeah, it's Jover.
He was holding that bad boy in there.
End of season 2, they're like, okay, you have to go to the mines and take a bath, and you know this is your quest for the future.
Bring me back some bath water.
Yeah.
Some Bo-Katan bath water. Judah would be all over that.
And welcome. Wait, why is it just you and me on the screen? Oh shit, my bad.
And welcome everybody. Season 3, episode 1 of the Archives podcast. SoTeeko back on the block, and we also have returning to the show. He puts the vice in Viceroy. He is the red hat enthusiast. He is Van Seal.
I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man.
And also joining us, making his comeback, like the Undertaker himself. The greatest amateur chef in Alaska. We have the Juder, and of course ain't nobody cuter than the Juder. I am your host, SoTeeko.
Just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy.
Thrawn's back, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
The Empire's back, baby.
So
Fuck
the boys are back in town.
Yeah. I bet there's so many like pro Empire red hat wearers. They're like, hell yeah, brother! Empire's back.
Empire Day, I love it.
Yeah. Yes. Now, ladies and gentle cars, welcome on back. Episode 40 of Star Wars: The Archives podcast, and in today's episode, we have a fan favorite returning, the zestiest fella from the Caribbean, Freddie Sexton. Welcome on back, man.
What's good?
Welcome on back.
What up, everybody?
And to go with Fred, fan favorite, we love Fred. We need a nickname for him, chat. We got Steve. That's how we introduced him last time. We've got Steve. And this
also known as Darth Bandon, also known as Jack Black.
And also known as Bith Scientist number 2. But I digress. In today's episode, this is episode 40. Who would have thought we'd make it 40 episodes? Not me. Not me. I feel like everyone tries to make a podcast at some point. I could see Jason making a podcast about wrestling. And I bet he has. Do you guys know? Has Jason tried starting a wrestling podcast?
He hasn't, but I have been involved in the failed pilot for a podcast.
Have you?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a wrestling and football and NBA fusion. I don't know how.
It's like a sports podcast?
I guess.
But if you're going way too into the wrestling as like a TV show, then it's no longer a sports podcast.
Yes, it was doomed from the start because this was around, I think it was AEW, I think it was Double or Nothing last year. Mm-hmm. And one of the people watched it, the other didn't. So there wasn't much discussion going on that part. But then when the other guy started talking about the NBA, the other guy doesn't watch basketball at all. So it just didn't work.
No, that's
never got off the ground.
I did a talk show in college. My freshman year, I did a sports talk show where literally just went over scores, stats, and you can't just it's the one thing that's plaguing anything to do with like sports talk right now, especially for the people who obviously aren't there, you know what I mean, but are there. they just bring up stats, and it's not even their stats either. They're just diving into stats that are prepared for them. And I think that it's the worst. But I had a podcast like that. But I used to be so big on analytics before analytics got popular. I'm a hipster with sports analytics. I was looking up on-base percentage and WAR and WRC plus. And
I can literally attest to this. There would be times where we're in Discord and Trevor would just randomly be like, "Hey, let's randomly look up like Bryce Harper's like double stats for like the year or something." You know, like we just oh, let's compare like these basketball players and see how they did in the last like couple of years. Like we used to do this all the time on Discord, like just to chill and do it. Like I can attest to this. We did this like way back when.
In college, I wrote my own stat. It was 3-point percentage weighted by 3-point attempts multiplied by, what was it? It was the defensive rating minus 100, and that would give you your 3-and-D score. And I had a really big graph that had the scale going up and down. Made my own fucking stat. I love analytics, but that was a failed pilot. We did one episode. My friends clowned on me for doing it, my IRLs. So I was like, fuck you guys. Like, I want to do something like this. But it was terrible. It was terrible. I'm pretty sure I just recorded I recorded nothing. But with my camera and my iPod Touch, I just put the iPod face down and just spoke into the microphone and then uploaded it on YouTube. Made a really shitty thumbnail. I bet it's still up. And if it is, I'll attach a little clip right here. But tried that. And then a few years later, my buddy Chip wanted to do an NBA podcast. So I'm like, bet I'll do it with you. And we did the Purple NBA podcast. Because he was a Laker fan. Purple was my favorite color, so we just put 2 and 2 together. Called it the Purple NBA podcast. We did one episode, and it was fun, but you could tell as soon as he got on there that he was shivering his timbers. Like, we would talk basketball for hours. We would stay up and do all-nighters on GTA doing races, literally just talking basketball. But as soon as I said, all right, we're recording, he started giving me one-word answers. Like, you could audibly hear in his voice he was nervous. Kind of like Steve last episode until the edible kicked in. Then he was chilling. But
It was that obvious?
it was, bro. It was.
Don't worry, Steve. My first episode too. It was like, I mean, I wasn't like super nervous, but like, you know, you could definitely feel like, oh man, we're on the air now, you know, like.
Dude, we don't
It's
even
definitely a
need to
vibe
talk.
change, yeah.
Dude, the first however many episodes of this show fucking sucked. They were terrible. It was like I was interviewing you guys about Star Wars, bro.
It was definitely like a learning process, you know? Like, there's always a
100%.
learning curve to things like this, but...
Facts. And I think bringing in Van Seal was sick. It was really sick.
Yeah, he had some really good ideas about the podcast as well, so definitely helped evolve it to another stage.
We miss you, Van Seal. Hope you show up in the midst of this. But in today's episode, folks, we're going to kick her off with a brand new segment that I like to call General Grievances. So in General Grievances, this is basically just a nice therapy session for the boys. Because I have a minor in psychology, I will be handling the role as the doctor. You can call me Dr. Keto. And Fred, Steve, who would like to go first? Who would like to sit on the couch?
Take a seat.
Hell yeah.
Take a nice little seat on the couch.
So, the object here is Fred. You're going to give me 5 things about film, Star Wars, TV, pop culture, and I'm going to basically just deem it valid or invalid. Your goal
Okay.
is to go 5 for 5. You know, you're the
Okay.
away team, so you get the ball first, and then Steve comes in right after you. But honestly, dude, just talk your heart out. I have no skin in the game. I'm an impartial therapist.
Okay.
So,
Sounds interesting.
Mr. Sexton, you came into my office today. What seems to be bothering you?
Well, you know what really grinds my gears? um, I'm just kidding. But I'd say like for like a grievance in like let's say for example like film, I hate like recently I've just hated the fact that like a lot of like writers these days seem to just want to appeal to a public that's not going to be interested in their work. If you get what I mean? Like for example Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like a lot of the content that Star Wars throws out, a lot of the times they'll do things like have like Jack Black and Lizzo randomly be in the show because they're trying to appeal to a different type of audience. You know, they want to get them to watch the show too. It's like, oh damn, I heard Jack Black was on the show. I heard Lizzo's on the show. That might be kind of crazy, but like, just appeal to like the people who love your content. Why are you appealing to these people who will not like your content? They're not gonna watch just because Jack Black or Lizzo's on the show. I can also get the idea of like, oh, maybe it's because we want these people to be like, oh, it's cool that we're getting these people involved in the Star Wars universe, but like, we don't really need to, you know? Like, sometimes it works, you know? Like, I thought Sasha Banks as a Mandalorian was kind of cool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then like, you know, like Jack Black and Lizzo just cracking jokes. Like I just want to learn more about the Star Wars universe, and I feel like a lot of the other people involved in it also want that, you know? So having characters like that on the show and eating up like budget that could be used towards like making the show better itself rather than making it more funny, in my opinion, that's a much better use of your resources. That's my first grievance.
I understand where you're coming from, and you know, it really doesn't make sense. You know, it's the example you used was perfect. Jack Black and Lizzo. You're coming into a pre-established intellectual property, a pre-established story. And it's kind of like, do you advertise that The Rock is going to be on Raw? Or do you have The Rock advertise on the side of the road that he's going to be on Raw? Like, you're clutching at straws when you do stuff like that. When in reality, like you said, it could be more centered on the story that's actually there, the fans that are there, that have been there. And I think these companies should remember that it always costs more money to train a new hire than it is to give the old hire a raise. So I really like that. Very valid. What would be your second grievance?
This one has to go to like the you know how like the Rey movie's been canceled time and time again? Guys, stop overthinking it. Rey, like here's the thing, right? I get that they like that some people think like, oh, Rey's a great character. Some people think, oh, Rey's a terrible character. So I get that may cause them to like start to overthink, you know? They're like, oh, well, now we have to make like this next movie like really good, otherwise, you know, it's gonna be a failure. Like people are gonna just hate on Rey even more, you know? Guys, stop overthinking it. You've gotten it to the point where everyone else is pretty much gone. Rey is her own character now. Work with it. This is what people wanted in the first place. They wanted Rey to be her own character. They were upset because like, oh, well, we keep like dragging Rey through like the Skywalker stuff, you know, let's make Rey her own character. You're at that point. You're at the finish line. Just cross the finish line, guys. make Rey her own character. Give her own arcs, you know? Have her make her own developments as a character rather than going through the Skywalker saga. That's all you need to do. Just make Rey her own character. Give her own, you know, like stories that she's crafting, you know? Like just let her be her own. I love Daisy Ridley as well. She's a great actress, you know? So like she definitely does the role of Rey justice. We just need to make simple decisions, you know, like simple story crafting. Like we've been seeing all of these Star Wars stories for however many years now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a guideline set already. All you have to do is throw your own twist into it. You know.
Yep.
Make Rey her own individual character. That's it. That's my second grievance. Stop overthinking.
Agreed. You know, it's double standards. It's overthinking, and you've got the blueprint there. You can't. I think their problem is that they would love to walk back what they've put out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure everyone and their mom wants to just take what they've made and probably do it over again, but they know that they can't, so they then have to make it all make sense. So that's very valid. Very valid.
Yep.
What would you say would be your number 3 grievance?
Okay, so this one is not really to do with like anything like film specific or like it's just like it's me pretending that the Star Wars universe like exists in real life for a second. It's like I'm calling out Ezra Bridger. What are you doing, brother? You got a baddie like Sabine Wren and you're leaving? What are we doing? You're trolling. I get it. You know, Kanan made the ultimate sacrifice. That was your boy. But, like, come on, man. You threw the bag. You threw the bag, buddy. That's my third grievance. He threw the bag.
Valid. I don't even need to say anything more. That's just so freaking... That's true, you know.
The absolute bag.
It's absolutely true.
Yep.
It's like winning $1 million in the Powerball, but you don't go and get the money because you stayed up all night celebrating.
Yeah, like, what are we doing, buddy? We're trolling.
Yep.
This actually brings me to my fourth one as well. It actually has to do with Sabine.
Mm-hmm.
I think making Sabine a Padawan was a sick decision. Having a Mandalorian become a Jedi, that's actually like crazy cool, you know? Because like we've seen like the dark saber and stuff like that. They already know the mechanics, you know? Like, so Ahsoka deciding to make her a Padawan and then train her in the ways of the Jedi is so cool to see, you know?
For sure.
Like, and then I feel like Sabine is one of those characters that is worthy of taking on the mantle, you know? Like from Obi-Wan, or well, from Qui-Gon to Obi-Wan to Ahsoka was more Anakin's Padawan, but obviously she took what she learned from Anakin, what Obi-Wan taught to him. You know, so it's kind of like Obi-Wan to him, to her, and then now to Sabine, you know? So it's like...
Hell of a lineage.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what a lineage to have. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan,
above him,
Anakin.
Count Dooku.
Yeah, Count Dooku as well. Oh, man.
All paths lead to Yoda. Like, yeah, that's sick as fuck.
Mm-hmm. That's a lineage I can get behind, you know?
But I'm going to have to invalidate it because it's not a grievance. It's just more of a, hey, that's pretty cool.
Okay. I see, like, the way I saw it was like, okay, well, what's my, like things that are on the brighter side as well, you know?
That's a great...
Yeah.
No, you know what? I'll validate it because that's a great galactic hot take.
Mm-hmm.
That is a great galactic hot take. We will wholeheartedly accept that. Because I feel like I'm one of the only motherfuckers out here saying Sabine's sick.
I feel like a lot of people, they'll look at it and they'll be like, what? Sabine? Like, why? It's like, what do you mean, why? She's already a Mandalorian. She's already, like, born different, you know? Like, if anything, we should have more Mandalorian Jedi. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you have to be born with the gift, but I mean, in that world, I feel like there would be a lot of Mandalorians who would have that gift, with the Force.
Absolutely.
So,
All right. What's your final grievance for today?
Hot air. So hot in here.
this one's a personal one. Make Finn better. Finn is a W character. Give him what he deserves, man. Make him a Jedi. Make him cracked. You know what I'm saying? Make him look cool. That's my boy.
That
Hook Finn up.
is double validation. 5 out of 5. I think you're probably in a much better spot now, Fred. How are you feeling?
Thank you. Feeling good, I feel like I got some of my grievances out there,
Heck yeah.
I got to talk about some things that I enjoy as well in the Star Wars universe, so that was pretty cool.
Heck yeah. And to recap Fred's grievances, appealing to audiences that don't watch nor care. Then we have Rey double standards and overthinking the story. Ezra is trolling. Sabine becoming a Jedi was sick. And make Finn better. I love that. GG's. Well, Steve, not to put the pressure on you, sir, but it is now your time to sit down on the couch and let's see if you can match Big Freddie Sexton's score.
Hey, you got this, Steve, just relax, just let us know what pisses you off.
Yeah, so obviously, to preface, Steve is Australian, might use some colorful language, but we're in a safe place for that. We're in a very safe place for that. I'm rocking the mustache today with the goatee. I'm credible. So, Steve Egzer, what seems to be the problem?
Well, my problem is it's not an edible. I smoke it, but it's hitting me hard right now. So let me just give you a moment.
Well.
As soon as you mentioned that, I was nervous, and I just started huffing.
Bro, I was joking. I don't
know how reliable we're gonna be, but let's give it a shot. All right.
We're good. Man.
Okay, so this is a story. Okay, this is a very funny story. Okay, so when I was a kid, the Phantom Menace had just come out, and they had this huge toy line for it. So they had these little figures that came with chips, and when you held them up to this comm link, they'd say quotes from the movie.
I think I have one of those.
So we're at a store one day, and there was this one Darth Maul one that was rarer than the other figures. There were 3 Darth Mauls, so this was the rare variant.
Is this it?
And let me see. Oh yeah, those were the ones. Yeah, those are the ones.
Heck yeah. Cool. And you said Darth Maul's rare? I do have I have the Maul getting chopped in half one.
Yeah, I think there were 2 or 3 Darth Mauls, but one of them was rarer than the others.
I've got this one.
So
He's getting chopped in half by Obi-Wan. I love it. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your story.
it's cool. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about now. So that Darth Maul figure became highly collectible and highly valued. So I went to a store one day with my parents, and the Darth Maul figure was there, and it was expensive. But it was maybe $20, $25.
Yeah.
And the other figures are $7 or $8. So it was about 3 or 4 times more, but because of its rarity, it was more highly coveted. So I turned to my mother and father and I said, guys, listen, I want that action figure for my birthday. So please, I've never asked you for anything else in my life. You know how rare that figure is. It's right there in front of us. We've been to every store. This is the only store that has it. I want that figure. you can hide it from me for however many months until my birthday and give it to me on my birthday. This will ensure that I get the action figure because of how rare it is. So the way it works is maybe once a week I went to the store. So like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a row, they still didn't buy it. So on week 4 we go back. It's gone.
No.
So my parents went to the store owner and we were like, what happened? And they're like, oh, well, someone came in and bought it. And we...
This is my guess. I'm going to guess halfway through. Your parents bought it, held on to it, and took you back to the store to kind of like scare you.
No, they didn't get it.
Oh.
So I said, I told you to buy the figure. Why don't you listen to me? Like, it was such a no-brainer. They could have bought it for me, could have fitted me until my birthday, and I wouldn't have bothered them for it. Because I knew I was going to get it on my birthday. Because they didn't buy it, I didn't get it.
Mm-hmm. When was your birthday? Like, how long away was it?
December.
Damn. Well, I'll tell you what, Steve. Might be going to that store on Friday. If I see it, I'll snag it for you.
I appreciate it, man.
Oh yeah. And that's a grievance and a half, man. That is a grievance and a half.
I just had to get that off my chest. All right,
Valid.
if I could do it, I need to take a breath.
Valid.
I feel like some demons came out there, you know? A lot of pent-up resentment.
So much pent-up resentment.
Yeah.
That hurt his feelings.
Hey, bro, it's part of the therapy process, you know?
Absolutely.
You must get wounded so you can heal.
That's what they say. That's what they say. You okay, Steve Bud?
Yeah, so my heart's racing a bit, but I'll be fine, I guess.
Yeah, Star Wars does that to you, especially Darth Maul. He does that to you.
Very passionate about Star Wars, yes.
Absolutely. So, you're a very passionate guy. What would be...
Maybe that's why I gravitate toward the Sith, maybe, because I'm very passionate.
I believe it.
Your emotions control you.
I believe it. What would you say would be your second grievance, Steve?
My second grievance. I don't want to piggyback too much off Fred because he did raise some pretty good points.
This is your personal therapy session.
Well, as soon as you mentioned Finn, it like The Force Awakens seems like it was setting him up to be the main character. Then they just swerve us right at the end. And they really dropped the ball on him because he didn't really do anything after that. He was
Agreed.
in a coma for the first half of The Last Jedi. Then he tries to kill himself. But then Rose almost kills herself trying to stop him. And
Dude, that sacrifice would have been so sick. It made sense. Like, not him dying. I didn't want him to die, but like that was a sacrifice and a half. That was insane. And Rose ruined it. It sucks.
Yeah, we touched on this last episode, so I don't want to go too off the rails here, but that's my second. I agree with Fred. They could have done a lot more with Finn. As with a lot of things that came out of The Force Awakens.
So, I think that the swerve it worked. It did its job. But you can't.
You know what would have been better?
What's that?
When it shows that shot of Luke's lightsaber twitching, but like if it and it goes off screen and it's not Finn. If it was fucking Luke Skywalker standing there, that would have made it 10 times better.
Yeah. I agree. And then they could have retreated on the Falcon, you know?
Oh, yes. So, since we're talking about The Force Awakens, here's my third grievance. We never got the original trio back together in the sequels.
Never.
And now that will never happen, now that Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul, is dead.
Yeah.
We were robbed big time.
Never. And they all wanted to as well. They all wanted to. They never freaking did. Sucks. I feel bad for Carrie Fisher, for sure. Those were her dogs.
Absolutely.
You know?
She was such a cool lady.
Yeah, it sucks. Really sucks. Rest in peace to our princess, Carrie Fisher. All right, what would be your fourth grievance, Steve? 3 for 3 so far.
Well, grievance 4. Let's talk about General Grievous.
Okay.
This one's more of a continuity error that was never addressed because the Clone Wars obviously came after Revenge of the Sith. But my grievance is in that infamous scene on Utapau. Hello there, General Kenobi. First of all, it's implied that they have never fought before. They did multiple times in the Clone Wars. And the second is every time I get a match on Bumble, I use the hello there gif, and not one single woman has responded back with General Kenobi.
I think some will. I think it's only a matter of time.
None of the matches I've got so far have done. That's a 2-on-1. Or we could just say that's my 5th one. I don't know, I'm fucking high.
Oh, we'll take it, man. We'll take it. 5 for 5. It'll come. It'll come. So, Steve, where you're at right now, our next segment is the trivia segment. So, these are multiple choice questions as well. I'm helping you out with that. Now, question number 1. In Return of the Jedi, what kind of creature is Jabba the Hutt's pet? A. Rancor. B. Sarlacc. C. Womp Rat. D. Tauntaun.
Oh, when you say pet, you refer to the one in his dungeon or Salacious B. Crumb?
Tried to eat a Luke.
His pet, yeah.
Okay, it's a Rancor.
Is that what you had, Steve?
Yeah.
Hey.
I just had to distinguish if you're talking about the dungeon or the one that's sitting right next to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. In The Empire Strikes Back, which famous line does Yoda say to Luke when he is about to leave his training? A. Do or do not. There is no try. B. The Force will be with you always. C. You must unlearn what you have learned. D. Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
Okay, well, the do or do not, there is no try. That's when he was trying to take the ship out of the swamp with the Force, right?
Correct.
So
Process
it's not
of
that one.
elimination. I like it. Good tactic.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with D. I think it's D.
Steven?
I'm going to be honest with you, I couldn't follow.
A, B, C, or D?
What's the question again?
In The Empire Strikes Back, which famous line does Yoda say to Luke when he is about to leave his training? A. Do or do not. There is no try. B. The Force will be with you always. C. You must unlearn what you have learned. D. Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
D. I'm smashing D.
You're
Pause.
doing what? Hey, yo.
Well, I have good news, boys. The score is tied up still, as the correct answer was C. You must unlearn what you have learned. That was a very tough one. A very tough one. Question number 3. In Return of the Jedi, and think about this one, right? Think about this one.
Mm-hmm.
In Return of the Jedi, who is the leader of the Ewok tribe that helps the rebels in their fight against the Empire on Endor? Is it A, Wicket, B, Logray, C, Chief Chirpa, or D, Tebow?
Okay, well, I know the leader of the Ewoks is Chief Chirpa, so... But then, like, Wicket was such an integral part of that, you know? But, I mean, if we're saying who led the Ewoks, it's gotta be Chirpa, right? He led the Ewoks, whereas Wicket was, like, helping, like, the main crew, you know? So I'm gonna go with Chief Chirpa.
Steve?
Fuck, I'm fucking. I should have smoked before this. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Is that A?
I'm cheating. I'm cheating. I'm copying what Fred's writing down.
Chief Chirpa is the correct answer. You guys have 2 points apiece after 3 rounds. We're in a really good spot. Because we got.
I'm not.
Question number 4. In The Empire Strikes Back, who is the first person to mention the name Darth Vader in front of Luke Skywalker? Remember, The Empire Strikes Back. Is it A, Obi-Wan Kenobi, B, Han Solo, C, Princess Leia, or D, C-3PO?
Hey.
So... Can you say what B and C was again? Which one was B, which one was C?
Han Solo is B, C is Princess Leia, and this is in The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, so... Like, looking back through, like, like the movie, I can't remember Han Solo ever saying Darth Vader, so I'm gonna nix that out right away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I remember C-3PO also referring to him as Darth Vader, so I'm gonna go with Leia. I think Leia is the first person to call him Darth Vader.
That is correct. 1 point to Fred,
go.
no points to Steve. It was a good shout, though, Steve. It was a good shout. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I was thinking the Dagobah thing would be the first one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, question number 5. These two are part of the medium category. In A New Hope, what was the call sign of the pilot who famously shouted, "Stay on target," during the Death Star trench run? A, Red 5, B, Red Leader, C, Gold Leader, or D, Red 10?
B.
Yeah, I'm gonna copy Steve and go with B here as well.
Incorrect. It was Red 5. Luke Skywalker, stay on target. But it was a tough one. It was in the medium category. This one is very tough, but I wish you the best. This question is worth 2 points as well. So, Steve, if you get this right, you can tie it. You can take the lead. Question number 6. In Return of the Jedi, who was the Imperial officer who initially doubted the success of Death Star 2's construction? A, Moff Tarkin, B, General Viz, C. Admiral Piet, or D. Moff Jerjerrod? Remember, Return of the Jedi. You need to
B.
hear B.
B? I'm going with B.
That is incorrect. General Veers died in the Battle of Hoth in Empire Strikes Back. Moff Tarkin died in Episode 4 on the first Death Star. Admiral Piet was the commander of the Executor, and Moff Jerjerrod resided on Death Star 2. And that's the correct answer, Moff Jerjerrod. But, again, very tough question. Here we go. In The Empire Strikes Back, which character first says, "I've got a bad feeling about this"? Is it A, Han Solo, B, Luke Skywalker, C, 3PO, or D, Leia?
B, Leia.
Leia.
It was C, 3PO on the Millennium Falcon. About one scene later, Leia says it on the weird tongue thingy that they were on in the asteroid.
I can remember her like saying like, "I've got a bad feeling about this."
Mm-hmm.
But I guess yeah, C-3PO beat her to it.
This one is a fill in the blank. In A New Hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi calls Mos Eisley a wretched hive of blank.
This is a medium question.
Yes.
Scum and villainy.
That is correct. 2 points to the both of you. Because I know Fred was about to say it too. Question number 9. I have to scroll up for this one. And this is very hard question. This question is worth 3 points. Okay. The scores right now are Steve 7, Fred 8. This question is worth 3 points. In A New Hope, who is the leader of the Rebel Alliance on Yavin 4? A, Leia Organa. B, Mon Mothma. C, General Dodonna.
Oh no.
I'm gonna go with Mon Mothma. That's my yes.
Oh yeah, mama, fuck. I can't hear. Fucking.
Steve is correct.
I can't breathe. Huh?
General
Steve got it.
Dodonna. Yeah, it's General Dodonna. Mon Mothma was in charge on the Home One. But still, a great guess, Steve. Great guess.
Great guess, dude.
Last question, and you have to think so clearly about this one because it is a trick question. In Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, what is the name of the ship that transports Han, Leia, and Chewbacca to Cloud City? Is it A, the Ghost, B, the Millennium Falcon, C, the Slave One, or D, the Tidirium?
It's a Ghost City, right?
Cloud City.
Cloud City. Okay. Yeah, you said Ghost was off the ship's mode.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say the names again one more time?
The Ghost, the Millennium Falcon, Slave One, the Tidirium.
What's the question? It was the first one. I can't fucking think right now.
The first one?
What's the question again?
In Empire Strikes Back, what is the name of the ship that transports Han, Leia, and Chewbacca to Cloud City? The Ghost, the Millennium Falcon, Slave One, the Tidarium. Fred said B, the Millennium Falcon. What about
Yeah,
you,
just
Steve?
read the Falcon. How is this a trick question? I'm fucking lost.
It is the Millennium Falcon. That is correct.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
the Falcon took him to there, right? Yeah.
Yep. Han obviously left in the Slave One.
Yeah.
That's what I was like thinking. I was like, wait, he said to Cloud City, so yeah.
No, the trick question was, and I didn't write these questions, but in the phrasing, what is the name of the ship that transports? Because they took the Tidarium to Endor, and that was their transport. But really solid little questions in there. GG's to the boys. Fred, looks like you're not that casual, brother. You're a geek. You're one of us.
One of us. One of us.
So in the next segmundo, this is one that I was going to be so excited for Van Seal to be on, because this is the debut segment of Target Acquired. And today's target is none other than Steve's least favorite character all time, Cassian Andor.
Andor who?
Andor what? As Juder would say. We miss you, Juder. Steve, are you too under the influence to talk about Cassian Andor?
Yeah.
I figured, it's all good. And in the next segment, folks, we have your questions that you send in to us. And these are the Galactic Dispatches. Real quickly, we have a question from Blue Fire Davy. And his question is, and this is good for all of us, because we haven't seen it, and I guess this is a good place to get your guys' opinions on it. But with Skeleton Crew, what do you think is going to be the reaction, and are you going to watch it yourself?
I actually don't know what it is. I've not been in tune with like Star Wars stuff in a while. So what exactly is Skeleton Crew?
It's being described as like Goonies, but in Star Wars?
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Goonies and Star Wars.
Yeah. And we're not talking Jason Alcantara type Goonie, like the movie Goonies, but in Star Wars.
Yeah.
It looked like a kid show to me, so I'm gonna let it rest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch Skeleton Crew because I'm a mature adult and I'm not a children's entertainer.
Right. That's kind of where I'm leaning too, because this isn't a review channel. We'll talk about stuff, but we're not the experts. You know, I don't claim to be a film critic. I'm just a writer, just an athlete, just a great guy all around, you know. I don't think I'm going to watch.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to watch it.
Yeah. But I hope you guys enjoy it. I really do.
Yep.
I really do. Great question though, Davey. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys enjoy it. This one is coming in from Ryu from the Discord. Appreciate you. What are your thoughts on the Lego version of the Star Wars universe? And I'm upset that MJ isn't here because I specifically wrote this one down for him because he's a big proponent of the Lego stuff. He's got kids. He's always got that stuff on.
He's got a lot of kids.
Yeah, 4 for 4. am not a fan of companies, and maybe this is my grievance. I am not a fan of companies creating their own what if content. I think it's just goofy. I think it's a waste of resources when people really just want to see the story that they're already invested in expanded upon. And you leave the what ifs and the conjectures and the theories for the fans. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I can agree with that, you know. Like the Lego version is obviously more so just for like the kids as well, you know. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of adults that get into Lego Star Wars too, you know. But like for the most part, like when you see like the Lego stuffs, like the Lego Batmans, the Lego movies, all that stuff, it's mostly for kids, you know.
100%.
It's meant to appeal to the kids, but also can appeal to the childish side of adult people. So, yeah, that's my view on it.
Yeah, my biggest grievance, I know we just did grievances, but this is on topic. In the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga game, they have Captain Rex, and that figure does not exist in real life.
Really?
Oh, wait, no, fuck, I just remembered. They do have that figure, but it's in the Venato fucking UCS set. It's like $800 or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How do you feel about like 3D printing that stuff, Steve?
That sounds more expensive than just buying the Venato.
3D printers are relatively cheap.
I've never looked into it.
Yeah, Keg does it. I think he got his for like 200. Granted, he bought a $200 3D printer, so it's pretty janky, but it does do the job every now and then. He did a Darth Nihilus mask. I'll put a picture of it on the screen here in the podcast. But yeah, the one thing I'm most hyped about when I move to Scotland is just setting up a nice home with my partner, you know, and just having dope things around and going to be able to dive into hobbies together separately. It'll be really nice. And one thing that I really want to learn, maybe even start a little Etsy business with, is 3D printing. Because I was always really good at the design portion on like Autodesk. So I don't think it'd be too hard of a transition to set up some filament to get printed. I think that'll be really cool, and I really do look forward to that. But what about you guys? You guys got any long-term goals like that?
Not right now, you know. Well, I have like one long-term goal, but I already told you it's getting a house. So, yeah. I just want to get my house by the time I'm like 30, you know, if possible. So, just working on that basically.
Yeah. What about you, Steve? You a goal-oriented guy?
I'm surprised we're talking about a non-Star Wars story, but yeah, I'm a certified onk, and I don't have my own home, and especially in Sydney, in Australia, you have to be a literal millionaire to buy property here, so that does not seem feasible in the near future.
No, the cost of living in Australia is nuts as is, let alone for housing, man. Can only imagine. Shout out my boy Monkey Man, bro. You're killing it, dude. Hope you're doing well. Him and his missus just got a house after he worked construction like 60-hour weeks, bro, for like 4 years.
Nice.
Yeah, good on him. Worked on a farm in his time off. Good for him, bro. Shout out Monkey Man. Love that guy. Love that guy. I had another question I was going to ask, but I think this more so relates to Oh, yeah. What are your guys' favorite Christmas pastimes? What does your family do for Christmas? And what are some traditions that you guys always look forward to? I'm always curious to hear about, you know, Christmas traditions, and maybe if there are some traditions that maybe you don't like super enjoy, that when you get your own kin that you won't adopt, but what are the ones that you're like looking forward to doing with your own family?
So this year I'm probably not gonna be doing anything for Christmas with any family. Like I said, my mom usually goes down to Florida for Christmas, so yeah, I'll probably just be chilling on Christmas, you know. As far as like traditions, we don't really have any that we do anymore, but like we used to when I was a kid. This is like a really Caribbean thing. So when I was a kid, my aunts would all come over, and we would make what are called pastels. You know, they're kind of like imagine like a beef patty, but like instead of like toasting it or whatever, you would take the cornmeal, you know, and you would like lay it out, like put the beef inside or the chicken or whatever, you know, and then put the cornmeal on top as well. And instead of like baking it or like toasting it or whatever, you would boil it and then eat it like that, you know. Called pastels. Yeah, we used to make those like a lot. We would like it'd be like a factory up in our house, dude. We'd be manufacturing those things like crazy. And like the stove would be on all day, like constantly boiling these things down inside of like banana leaves and foil, you know. And that was like it was such a fun time for me because like my whole family would be there, you know, and we'd just be like at the table, like making them, you know, by hand. So
Probably smelled
that was
either
always a
really
really
good
fun
or really stank.
oh, it smelled really nice, bro. Oh man, it was so good.
What about you, Steve? Any fun holiday traditions with the family?
Well, my family's all adults now, siblings and shit, so everyone's kind of spreading out, doing their own thing. I've got a brother that lives in America now. My mom lives in a different state, so it's very rare for us to get together, and Christmas is one of those occasions. So we usually just get together in one place, have some dinner, and give each other presents, and very traditional.
Heck yeah, man. We're kind of the same boat. Like, this is probably the last Christmas that we're all at least in the same state. Because my brother's talking about moving states. I'm moving countries. So this is probably it. This is probably like the last Christmas that we're all relatively together. Like, my dad's dead, so he ain't around, but everyone else is. And it's pretty cool. I'm sure my brother will come back for at least Christmas, you hope. But I won't be able to make it like every year, so this is probably the last one that we're all together. Maybe next year. Probably a couple left, so what I really enjoy is I like the baking. Similar to Fred, I really like the baking. The Christmas treats, you know, the fudge, the peppermint bark, the cookies. I like the gingerbread houses. I'm very sentimental with Christmas, and I really do enjoy it. And there's a ton of traditions that I'd like to pass on to my kids and my family. But one of them I think the most is just spending that quality time together, because I think you can tell with some people who got that quality time with their family and who didn't, and how they perceive holidays. And I know a lot of people, holidays mean one thing or another, but they've always just been super special to me. I love family stuff. Family's big for me. And, you know, that's why we all love Star Wars, because it's all about family. It's all about hope. It's all about loving one another and never giving up on each other. And that's what I like about our friend group, too, because we're all we give each other shit, but everyone gets shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone gets
Just
shit.
part of the jokes.
Exactly. And we're all Team BDS, brothers from different situations. So,
United by our love of Star Wars.
And mainly,
It's like the Ghost Crew. We all come from different backgrounds, but we all fill a void in each other's lives.
Absolutely. Especially with Revan. We love Revan. We love Revan.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for coming through episode 40 of the pod. We really did have a really good time on this one, and we really do appreciate your time tuning in with us. Next episode's Big 41. That's one of my favorite numbers of all time, so you can ensure it's going to be a good one. Quick little update. We're going to be doing a giveaway. Stay tuned for that. And vote in the community tab. When you see this video, when you hear this, vote in the community tab what you think would be a solid first prize. So I'll see you guys later. Peace, love, and life. Doses Manuses. For Steve Egzer, a.k.a. Darth Bandon, a.k.a. Bith Scientist number 2, and Fred, a.k.a. Finn. We love you. Have a good one. And peace.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.